Hello, welcome back. So the next installment of this book is a non-math book, by the way, again. This book was only about $8 at Barnes& and Nobles a while ago. It's called Mindfulness by Gil Hassan. Very, very, kind of not a very in-depth book. It's only about 90 pages. But there's a lot of good information about this. And the book kind of talks about, how you're thinking through life and stuff like that. So let's go through it a little bit. Mindfulness. Clear mind means managing difficult emotions like anger, anxiety, and guilt. Building confidence and self-esteem. Dealing with loneliness and communicating effectively with others. Life is a series of connected moments, beliefs, and values. Take responsibility for your choices. There's a lot there, and we have to manage our emotions at certain times. Yes, when a problem arises, we don't want to be angry about it. We're going to be maybe conscientious about maybe where that problem came up. And that's really hard sometimes to kind of see the source of that problem. But sometimes the source is pretty straightforward. And when something unexpected comes up, so let's say you're driving down the road and your car gets a flat tire. You don't want to get angry. You want to feel that anger. You want to control your emotions, but things happen on the road. Maybe your tire just wasn't good enough. It was old. It was time to replace it. You kind of knew it. You had to replace it, and one day it was just going to pop. Or maybe there was just a construction site. There was nails on the ground. Sometimes that happens. You want to get angry at the construction workers or the construction trucks. Or maybe you're just going down the road and suddenly the engine stops, and you had no idea. And you want to get angry. You want to get really angry and pissed off, and you want to resort to blame. And you can't really blame it because your car is just a machine. But if you don't take care of the machine, maybe you're the blame. But Gil Hansen talks about, anxiety gets the best of us sometimes. And being mindfulness of your anxiety, hopefully you are aware of it and you can lower yourself down and think. Mindfulness keeps you grounded. It allows flexibility thinking. Prevents from being out of control. Enjoy the experience, enjoy the moment. Very important. I had nothing else to say on that. I think that's really good thing to say. You want to keep grounded. You want to keep yourself in control, because when you're out of control, you're not feeling really well. The aspects of mindfulness: being aware, acknowledgement, acceptance, non-judgmental, and focused on engagement. Now, this is kind of being, awareness is, being in consciousness of yourself and other people. It's very hard to be sometimes doing that because a lot of people are just not aware of what's going on. And sometimes you have your phone on and you're going down the street and you're just looking at your phone the whole time. You're not really aware of your surroundings. You have to acknowledge some things that you have to recognize that problems and people are around you. Things do happen, and you have to accept it and accept the feeling of regret, of jealousy. We all get jealous to a certain extent, and you have to accept that. Try not to put everything on yourself. Let things go. Sometimes we have that. I don't know, that trait, I guess, that we just want to put so much on our plate and we judge ourselves too fast. And sometimes you just got to let things go and stop and forget about the past. We can't do anything about the past. And that's kind of what Gil was talking about in the book, is that, she was talking about, a lot of people focus so much on the past, and the past brings them down. And sometimes that's going to affect you. It is going to affect you, I should say. And you can't really plan. You can plan for the future, but don't plan too far into the future. Take baby steps. It takes a lot of patience and trust. Patience is a big thing that a lot of people don't know about. It's just, you got to be patient for yourself. Don't be in a hurry. Just be calm. It's like walking through a field of long grass. The more often the path is trodden, like trash down, then more established the path becomes. So like you're walking through a field and it hasn't been mowed, and you're walking through the grass and the grass has been folded over. And the more you're doing that, walking through that path, the better it's going to get more pathy, more rundown. And I guess what you're talking about is a habit is being formed. You're walking that same path. A habit is being formed. A habit is what you're doing repeatedly without thinking. We all fall in this. So she comes out that we all fall in these mind traps. A trap is something that you want to avoid, right? But these are common traits, traps in our mind. So the one is called catastrophe, disturbing thoughts. So you have disturbing thoughts for the future possibility. You're always thinking of the worst possibility, the worst case scenario. So you're setting yourself up for destruction, really. That's a mind trap. Number 2, jump to conclusions. Sometimes you're judging or deciding first thing with no solid evidence. We all like to take shortcuts to make our thinking bigger, right? It's like you're going to the dentist. You have a dentist appointment. Oh, I want to go to the dentist because I just don't like how last time I was there they hurt my teeth, or I have a bad feeling about them. You're making this heuristic, this shortcut, this behavioral aspect of this, that you are putting yourself into a thought, into emotion. And you don't want to jump to conclusions because maybe that might be the best time. And there's just one time that was bad. The second time might not be too bad. Don't jump to those bad conclusions without any solid evidence. Sometimes we tunnel think, and that's just narrow thinking. We don't think about the big picture. We think about, we're in narrow-mindedness. We're just thinking about this is it. And sometimes you can really have bad thoughts about things when you're doing that. The fourth thing of mind traps she talks about is the confirmation trap. Confirmation. You're seeking info that supports your existing ways of thinking. So let's say you don't like the dentist, and you have a friend that doesn't like the dentist either, and they're always talking about how much bad time they had at the dentist because they treat them badly, so like that. So that conditions you to think that way too. And so you're just setting yourself up for more destruction. Number 5 talks about the conformity trap. Now, conformity means that if you're kind of like standing in an elevator, and let's say you get into an elevator, the door opens, and people are looking the other way. And you get into the elevator, and he says, okay, and then you turn that way too. It's called your conformity. We love doing that. It's like if people are looking up and then you look up, you're conforming to that. Just a couple of examples. But we fall into other people's way of thinking. So like I was talking about that dentist way, is that if that person is thinking about this way and another friend is thinking about this way, this whole group is thinking about terrible time at the dentist, there might be a reason for that. And then you can conform that, oh my God, I had a good time at that dentist. What's going on? But these people are just thinking, oh, I don't like that. Number 6, the sunk cost trap. The sunk cost trap. Time and effort you have already put into that. So you already put in the time and the effort. And sometimes it doesn't always work out. And that's okay. Just move on. And you can't get that time back. Can't get that effort back. Can't get that energy back. And that's a mind trap that we fall over. We fall into sometimes. So those are the mind traps that Gil was talking about for our limited understanding of things. Any thoughts and actions create a natural pathway to the brain. Repetition. Mindfulness can alter the physical structure of our brain. If you think in a way, you're going to act that way. Very interesting. Our neurocomplex, our brain has sections, right? The front brain, the frontal lobe, is for your thoughts and actions and your development. And if that is not fully formed, you're not going to do well. You're not going to think logically. You're going to think angrily. You're going to think on a guard all the time. And it's about your thinking, reasoning. And if that thing is not, your frontal lobe is not developed fully, you're not going to think right. And you're not going to remember things. And you're going to be so filled with hate because you're not in control of yourself. And then you're just going to feel that way all the time. She talks about we have to concentrate on our breathing. Breathing and meditation go hand in hand. Meditation is actually being taught in schools, is that, you just sit there and you concentrate on your breathing, you focus a little bit to kind of get your mind at ease. There is value into that. It makes you think, and focusing on your breathing really relaxes you a little bit, because we have so much stimulation going on in the world. Sometimes we have to slow down. One thing at a time. Do less. Sometimes take your time. Your thoughts can trap you. Yeah, I think so. A couple more things. Confidence is not all about what you can or can't do. It's what you think or believe you can do. Having confidence for a lot of stuff does. You have to have confidence for yourself to do something well. A can-do attitude. I believe I can do that. And instead of thinking about how hard something is, think about what you will get out of it. I like that. Oh yeah, studying math is hard, but what you're getting out of it is logically thinking, and your skill-wise is going to go through understanding the world. Managing criticism. This is very hard for some people. Criticism can be good or bad, but managing it, listen to what other people are saying. Is it constructive? Reflect and clarify. Respond. It's how you respond. Remember, it's not always what's going on, it's how you're responding to the incident. Look for the seeds of truth. Okay? Don't sweat the small stuff. Okay? Mindfulness isn't about getting somewhere. It is simply a matter of knowing where you already are. And I really understand what Gil is trying to say there, is that in order to know yourself, to know others, you must know yourself. And that's very critical thing to have. And you have to have self-control. You have to have discipline. You have to have mindfulness. You have to be consciousness. And you got to mind your actions. And when you're out of control, you're not in control. And being in control means you are down to earth, that people can look up to you, people can work with you. And sometimes if you are erratic, it could be a biological problem. Yeah, it happens, or a brain chemical reaction. I don't know, but there's an exception. But most of the time is that you have to be in control of your emotions, because that will help you through the long run of any problem. Very important. So I'm hoping that you enjoyed this book. Like I said, I didn't get this book for very much. It was on sale. But it's called Mindfulness, Gil Hansen. Very interesting. It's probably going to take me a couple of days to read. It took me a while because I wanted to have a lot of information about that. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. I will see you in the next one.